Hey everybody. Looks like it's just me and Blue right now, but we're gonna start it off anyway. Thought I was gonna have to do it solo, but Blue helped save me here. I know you can't see him when there's just two of us. That's the only thing that sucks when you only got two people. It one that shows up. So anyway, I got Blue here, and I'm gonna let him do an intro or whatever he wants to do or about his channel.
Just real quick, I got the 1,000 subscriber giveaway going on. Everybody should know about that already. VR for the big packages, which is one of Pop's Quest speed loaders. There's a separate package for that. And then there's also 2 ounces of silver in a separate package. And I've got 3 comment packages. So go check out the original video, put in a comment, I want in, if you want in on the comments, or get me a VR if you want in on the bigger packages. I think so far we're up to just a rough guesstimate because there's some stream lights, there's some, what the hell are they called? Key smarts and credit cards, and not credit cards, but like the credit card multi-tools, pocket constitutions, some stickers. But I think we're almost up to about $200 and some odd worth of stuff that we're giving away. That'll end on the 25th, which is 11 days from now. So you got 11 days to get a VR in. Also, just real quick, just in case the guys haven't caught the video, my new phone. Hello. No. If you guys have Verizon, they're having a promotional deal going on right now, which I didn't know about. I went in to check to see if my phone was ready for an upgrade yet. But the lady said, "Hey, look, are you into tablets?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I don't want one." And she's like, it's a good deal going on. It's a Samsung Galaxy 8-inch tablet, which is pretty big. It's damn big actually. But it was $24.09 out the door. That's what I paid. And then there's a $10 a month access charge onto your existing contract. So I don't know. I thought that was too good of a deal to pass up. So if you guys have Verizon and are interested in getting the cheap tablet, that's the way to go, because I think it's about a $350 or $400 tablet. So that's all I got.
Cool. And man, cut my bandwidth down, maybe look like a cartoon. Yeah, that's a good deal. If anybody's got Verizon or whatever. And I just wanted to say, to going in, how you do a VR is you just make a video. I don't know if you have to name it a VR or not. He didn't specify, but in the video, say you're doing a VR for Blue 823, and then you copy your link to that video and you go to Blue's original contest video, and in the comment section you post it to let them know that you did a video, and then boom, he'll watch it and you're in.
That's it. And to get in, the VR is real simple. I made it, and I don't know if, I think I'm up to like 9 VRs, which is still pretty good. I mean, I didn't think I'd get that many, but it's called, I want a trick shot video, but you don't have to have a gun. I mean, you can throw a freaking kitchen knife at a balloon. You can do any type of trick shot. I mean, I've got a guy threw a pitchfork at a target. I've got some blowgun video, or who did that one? I think that was Fat Man. Did a blowgun video, a plunger gun video, which was a spoof video, which, the plunger gun doesn't actually shoot a plunger, but the guy went out and had his plunger gun and he put it over his back and like acted like it shot into a portable toilet. That's all I'm looking for, is just, some type of cool trick shot. It could be with a pellet gun, bow and arrow. I don't care. Just throw something at a target, which is pretty cool.
Wasn't it S.H.T.F Fork that done the plunger?
Yeah, I think it was him.
Yeah, I was thinking it was. But anyway, yeah, get in on that. I got to do a video tomorrow. I'm still kind of debating on what to do. I'm not a really big trick shot guy, but I told Blue I'd try to do a quick draw and hit a target. I've done a video doing a quick draw, but I wasn't really aiming at a target. I was just shooting in the woods. I got to practice at that a little bit.
And that's the thing. Even if it's an absolute fail where it doesn't work, you're still in. I mean, I didn't, nothing specified that you had to hit the target you're aiming at. It's just one guy threw not an axe, but a hatchet. He was throwing them at clay birds, that type of stuff. So, and yes, you can kill a squirrel with a slingshot. That would absolutely that'd be one hell of a trick shot. Even if you don't hit it, I don't care. You'd be in. Just show us you trying to do it.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping to see more videos on that, but there again, that's, it's a little bit of a challenge, so that makes a difference. But it's still fun to watch them, and get it put up, and we'll see what happens.
Well, the comms prepper, he sent me a message or made a comment, one of the two. He's like, I can get a gun out, but would you count a trick shot being using an AR-15 as an antenna for one of his radios to hit a repeater somewhere? I'm like, hell yes. If you're willing to set that up, that definitely counts. I haven't got that one in yet, but I'm actually.
Oh, if he could do that, he could claim the longest range AR-15 shot. 20 miles away with this AR-15. Beat that.
Hey, wet t-shirt trick shots, that's even better. I just saw that one pop out in the comments. I'm like, hell yes.
Yeah, those count. More the merrier.
Yep.
Make sure and send me a link too. Dang it. Getting rough out there.
It is.
Yeah, speaking of radios, programmed this radio today, and I've checked in on the just right before this chat, S.H.T.F, which Comms Prepper suggested on that chat we had with him, Blue. And he was like, yeah, if you just got a Watson or a Bay phone, you're not really serious about your prepping radio. And I was like, oh, shit, I got to get another radio now. To be honest, a bit more than Wouchon. There's a lot more than a Bay phone, though. But Wouchon says how they pronounce it like it says ocean, like wash ocean, whatever. Looks like Watson. Bucks, but I think this is about 120, 130, and that Yaesu might have been 150 or 160. I'd have got one of those to start with. But
now, what's your wattage out with that?
5 watts.
Oh, that is a 5 watt.
It has some features. This Yaesu does have some features I like better. If anybody knows anything about radio, it has a channel right here, like if you got program channels, squelch there knob, so you can manually adjust your squelch while you're using the radios. That's really cool. I like that. The thing I don't like about it is it don't show 2 meter and 70 centimeters at the same time. Which, I hate to get all boring and shit here, but which is the advantage of this, guys, then you're using these radios close by, you're not using a repeater, you just say shit hit the fan. And you set up a perimeter watch or whatever, or you got a scouting guys out there or whatever, you can see both 70 centimeter and 2 meter, and you can even set it up to see, I don't know, anyway, but you can talk on one and listen to the other. So you'd have, even if somebody stumbled across your frequency that you was using, they'd only hear half the conversation because they'd have to hit both of them, you know. So that is pretty cool about this, and the Beofong's the same way.
Yeah, so, other than the work radio for portable that I have, the only other one I have is that Beofong, or however you say it, Bofang, which it's a good radio. Don't get me wrong, it works, but you get what you pay for, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a bitch to program, that Bofang. Holy balls!
The way to do it is program it through your computer.
Right.
Yeah. Even that's still painstakingly long. Once you ever channels you want, I use Chirp, which is a free program you can get off internet. Once you write in all your shit you want, and you have to research that stuff, because especially for repeaters and stuff, because there's offsets and tones and all kind of shit involved. Once you get it all done, you save that. I used the same program to do the Yaesu as I did the Bofong, the Watson, whatever. You know, so I can transfer it over and program any radio with that without having to type all that shit in again.
Yeah, your
Chirp
sucks. Sitting there and you have to type everyone in, and then you have to almost triple check it to make sure that you put the decimal point in the right place and you don't have any typos. And but yeah, once you have your list made, it's kind of nice.
Oh, and let's see. Yeah, I totally. Yeah, so I can tell it's a lot better quality radio. I hit a repeater today at work. I was on break, and I walked outside, and where I had problems with like a Beofong, be standing in the right spot, it didn't really matter where I was at. I hit it. You know, I got a response back from people, so I can tell it's a. And that's the thing with your cheaper radios. It says it's 5 watts, but you may not be getting 5 watts. 2.9 or 4.2, you know, between the quality of radios, they'll put out more or a better signal or whatever. I don't know.
Did you see that video Comms Prepper just put out about there's a website where now manufacturers are required to put the actual stats up of what the output is and all that?
Yep. Yeah, because it was like, that was the family radios, the FM, shit, I can't never remember, FMRS or something like that. The ones you buy at Walmart. And the one he looked up, what was it, like 9 watts? I mean, not even 2 watts. I mean, I don't even think it was that much. It was like 0.2, yeah, 0.2 watts. Yeah, not even a watt.
Actually, let me see if I can get that. I bookmarked it. I'll throw it out in the chat room.
And because he made me think about getting one of those Midlands radio 5 watts and comparing that to those handhelds you buy that may be just putting out 0.2 watts. I mean, not even a watt. Talked to my buddy that lives several miles from here. You know, I might not be able to pick him up, but I could at least talk to him. But you know, it could be worth, you know, talking him into getting one. Prepping buddy, fan or something like that. We made communications. You know what I mean? And hang on, I gotta throw this. I had to take my boots off. It's been on there since 6:30 this morning. They're getting heavy. But I thought that the full 5 watts, but you got to you need to get a license. But that license for that radio, paying a fee. It's no test involved. $60 or $90 to get it. But you got the external antenna and stuff. You know, antenna like you put on your car or something. But I think it would be a good option. Plus, if people are nearby you, communicate. They would, if they're near enough to you, handheld, you know, would reach further out. And with that external antenna, you would be your signal a lot better than if you just had a handheld. For prepping, that makes a lot of sense to get. I mean, you're talking all said and done, a few $100 investment, but if you're really serious about the prepping thing, I mean, communications is very important, you know, so priority in my, because if you don't know what the hell's going on. Well,
yeah, and it's not even so much as talking back and forth with each other as much as sometimes just listening. You know, you can hear what's going on, where people are at, you know, what fires have been set. I mean, that's with even that stupid Bofang that I have in my personal car. I've told this story once or twice, but I was driving down the road that goes to my house. You know, it's the 2-lane road, 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. And I just hit that road and the fire department's tones tripped out. And I'm like, ooh, wonder what they've got going on. And it was a tree down on my road about a mile from where I was at. So I knew to slow the hell down before I came upon this tree that was the whole way across the road in the middle of the night. So, you know, I mean, and that's a simple prep. I mean, that's just to keep yourself, you know, up on information that's going on at that time. But and I think that question's already been answered. Somebody said, if you have a bunch of radios, how do you keep them safe from an EMP? Yeah, the metal trash cans are what I see a lot of. I don't know how great they would work, but if you have a shield around them like a metal trash can, that would at least help keep them safe.
I really don't worry about EMP bad enough that it wipes out radios and everything else. Even if you did save yours, talk to, because probably nobody else did.
Oh yeah, and all your repeaters are instantly down because they're not shielded.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 meter, 70 centimeter, all that's going to be damn near useless. I mean, unless you had somebody that, like I said, nearby that prepped that you could talk to, because are pretty much line of sight. They really are. They'll go a few miles. Don't get me wrong. They'll go several miles if you're up high enough. A repeater. I tried to talk to a guy on this radio who only lived 5 miles from me, and I couldn't talk to him because I live in a mountainous area, flatter area to go further. But now these you would have to protect from my EMP pretty good. My HF rig, CB and stuff like that, they're encased in metal already and grounded. Okay, unless it was a really bad EMP. So that's just my personal opinion because nobody's tested it. My robot, and I can see myself freezing up. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if and it's not that you're freezing up so much. It's like every now and again, like I'll miss 2 or 3 words that you're saying. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know. Let me cut it down. That makes me look like shit, but from robot, and we'll do that. Hell, it looks like I'm still. Hell, let me cut it all the way down. Screw it. All right, how's that? Is that any better? You can't see me, but
And everybody else is saying it's my connection, so maybe it's probably mine.
I see myself freezing up. So I'm if it freezes up, changing looks. I don't know. At where I'm freezing up a lot, so because I have went back and looked at some of my chats, and that's why I had my bandwidth cut down a little bit to start with. I had it down 1 notch because the picture looks really good, but then I keep freezing, you know.
Yeah, I think if you don't go back to video, you're going to start losing people. They like looking at your mohawk.
Is that what it is? Well,
It is.
all right. That looks like crap. I don't know. No, I'll wait a minute and see if I see it on the outside. I think I need to clean out my computer and reload Windows in it or something. It used to, my internet never done that. It looks like crap.
I know that you
Just screw it up.
A rundown on the side chat before we went live. You were talking about a certain individual in the side chat that had a drawing or a giveaway at your last chat or 2 chats. I didn't know if you wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I think it was last Sunday. Queen out there in the audience wanted to do a contest. Just to do it, they did it in the comment section, or he did it in the comment section. Winners. Me and Blue was talking. I think he just done it one time. I don't think he did it Tuesday night too, but sorry, and that might have been the one I won. But anyway, and I don't know how he was doing it, whether he was counted the comments or what. I really don't know, but he did send me a Mercury dime. Said 5 grams of pure silver. There. So thank you, JB Coin. That was awesome of you. Very cool. Yeah, it's JB Coin. So anybody, I just want to say thank you, JB. I appreciate it. I didn't do crap to win it, but somehow I won it.
And that's always awesome whenever you have people that are, you know, relatively new to the chat that come in and, you know, they instantly hit it off with, you know, with what we're talking about. Plus they hit it off with the people that are in the comment section and they just decide, hey, look, let's give something away that I've got. I don't want to say an excess of, but I've got a couple extras. So let's give it away. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine, Tool Monkey, who he won too. He's actually somebody, he's not out there right now, but actually, no, I actually work with him. And tobacco plants from, which, anyway. But he has go to seed. He has got literally, I mean, literal thousands of seeds probably. Yeah. So he said he thought about, because he checked out a chat here, well, when he won that coin, I'd like to give away some tobacco seeds. And I was like, hey, if you come in there and do a little contest and give away tobacco seeds, that's fine. Do something different. You know, he's got more than he could ever use. I mean, I've seen the one plant, and it's like, hey, you could plant an entire field with that. Jeez, how many seeds those things have. Because they're teeny. They're like pepper flakes. I thought, sure, come in and do it. I don't care.
That'd be different, especially for somebody like up in my area. I don't know if tobacco would, you know, Northwest PA. I mean, there's probably a very short time where you could get it going, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see how that would work. Roll a couple.
Hell, they grow it. I don't. Well, it might be cooler in Turkey. I don't know, but grow about anywhere. It may not get as big as it would somewhere else. Mine wasn't doing that good. Yeah, JB says he grew 24 plants and had millions of seeds. Hell, that's, yeah, no kidding. I bet so. Mine were doing great. And the other day usually when I'm working, I don't go out because it's before 7 o'clock. I don't get home till 9. So I don't even go outside and look at the garden or anything, you know. And it was either, I think it was the last. Anyhow, it was 2 or 3 days. There was a few spots on the leaves that had, you know, a few holes, you know, which is common. You got a garden. They ate the entire plants. I mean, all of them. Well,
Oh
all the
shit.
leaves, and was already eating on the stem. It was these big green things. I mean, it wasn't a slug; it was some kind of bug. And if anybody's got a garden, they know what I'm talking about. I don't know what the name of them are. And they were, and I killed like 10 of them. It's just mowing away at them. I was like, son of a bitch! I didn't get not one leaf off of them.
Oh, so you end up losing them all. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
but my buddy Brian's got some seeds, so come next year I'll try again. But I hadn't done any kind of pesticide. Usually, my garden really sucks this year. I'm about to till it up. The only thing I've got out of it is cute. Um, yeah, it just didn't do good at all this year. I don't know what happened, but anyway, fall garden. Um, maybe that's what they call it. I don't know. Damn, it's a big thing. Well, not all of them were that big, but they were big, big, fat. Um, anyway, I'll try again next year. But I'll take the do a natural pesticide where you grind up like garlic, simmer it in water, pepper in it too, some hot pepper, and kind of get that all infused together with the water, and then you filter it and pour it into like a bug sprayer, and then top it off with water, because that's a real high concentrated, and maybe even put a little bit of dish detergent in it, and you spray your plants, and it's a natural pesticide, and it won't hurt the plants.
Yeah, that's what we do here. And it kind of sucks because if you have like a slug outbreak or some shit like that, my plants get decimated. But I refuse to put any of the commercial pesticide stuff on my garden. But the biggest thing that I found so far that probably saved my garden this year, which is probably I can't believe I didn't know about it before, but I've used diatomaceous earth, and you have to make sure that you use food grade diatomaceous earth. And what I did was I took a gallon milk jug, and you put like 4 tablespoons of that diatomaceous earth in that gallon jug, fill it up, shake it up so it gets all shaken into it, and then you put it in like one of those sprayers like you're talking. And it's time consuming because it sucks. You have to go around and squirt all your plants. But that's I've done that all year, and we've had probably the best. Our tomatoes, I've got more flipping tomatoes, cucumbers. My pepper plants still suck. I've never had luck with pepper plants. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And this year we did pumpkins, and this is the weird part. Don't put pumpkins in your garden ever. I freaking put 2 pumpkins, like literally planted one seed, planted another seed about 5 feet away from it. That freaking both of them have my whole garden. I have to keep moving the vine because they're probably, if I had to make a guess, those vines off of one pumpkin seed are probably 20 to 25 foot each. And it's like I have them all, and I've only got 5 pumpkins out of that much vine. So, but they just bloomed again. So maybe I'll get a couple more pumpkins. But yeah, that diatomaceous earth that really seems to be, once you put it in the liquid form, because I always used to just take it out. It's not a colander, but that thing that you put like flour in, and you squeeze it, and it kind of what
Sifter.
Sifter, yeah. And I just go around all the plants and I do that. And it wasn't really working good, which, I figured, what the hell, but it's dry and you're putting it on a dry plant. So, it wouldn't stick. But once I added it to the water, once the water evaporated off the leaves, you had that diatomaceous earth residue left on, and it's been working pretty good. So.
I hadn't, if I have heard about it, I forgot about it, but that's another good one. Yeah. I know I've put it out, and I've put it in my chicken pen before for them to do their like wet and stuff like that. And I found where I got a little bit of it covered up, I would go pour a whole bag out in a corner or whatever so they could do their dirt bath. And, because it would kill the mites and stuff like that on them, a little bit better than just dirt.
Right. No, and it's see, I don't know much about it, but from the little research that I've done, I guess the diatomaceous earth is just basically seashells and stuff like that that's grinded up so that if a slug gets on it, it's not really hurting the slug, but they don't like crawling over that because it basically cuts them a little bit. But from what I understand, the beetles and the other bugs, that diatomaceous earth somehow gets in between their exoskeleton, whatever that is, and it rips them up bad, and it basically kills them. But
well, that's good to know. That's
ooh,
about it. If that's all it is, then you ain't got to worry about it contaminating your plants. I mean, it's
right. It's 100%. But you have to. There's two different. There's a food grade diatomaceous earth, and then there's a different diatomaceous earth. But if you're putting it on a garden, from what I've read, you have to absolutely make sure that it's the food grade one.
Yeah, I knew it had a lot of good uses. A lot of people use it for different stuff. So
I'm going to ask a question, which I know we can't get the answer in here, but Julia just put on, if I cut back the vines, you'll get more pumpkins. You want the nutrients going to the vegetable, not the vines. I understand that part. So Julia, if you're listening, and I hope you are, is there anything I have to do with the pumpkin vines? I mean, do I just lop them off, or do I have to, is there like a procedure that you have to do? So if you could put that in the comments, that'd be great. Because I've been told not to cut the vines, not to cut them back, or else I'll kill the whole plant. And that's what I was worried about.
they're talking about BLM and not, the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
a story about, what was it, Milwaukee?
Yeah.
But I have not looked at the story or anything. I can't comment on it because I don't know. I've been working all weekend, so I'm out of the loop. I see headlines, but I ain't got time to read them. I'm just looking at my phone at work. I hit a story here and there, and that's about it on break or whatever. So,
yeah, that's from what I see from the Milwaukee deal. And this again, I've only read very, very few stories on it, but it almost looks like the police shot an armed black man. I think I might be wrong. This is just with a couple stories that I've seen, and now
that's the headline I seen.
Yeah. They shoot an armed black man, and yet we're still well, not we. They are still rioting, and it just, I don't know, that type of shit. You know what? I don't want to say rioting is bad. If you're doing a protest, do a protest. But as soon as you start freaking burning down a gas station and burning down fucking cars, arson, as far as I'm concerned, is a forcible felony. And at least in my great state, a forcible felony, you can be dispatched immediately if you are witnessed doing an arson. I mean, that's... I don't know. I hate seeing that.
It's getting out of hand, and we've already said this on. I know at least Matt's chats, or Matt said it on here, and I agree with him. Black Lives Matter is a damn terrorist group. Traffic. They're trying to pull people out of cars, or some people that affiliate themselves with them are flat out killing cops. I don't care how you slice it up. It's a damn terrorist group.
Yep. Yep, they
drove in front of me. My car won't stop.
No.
Oh, I can run over a shitload of people.
No, I'm not saying that if I was in my personal vehicle going down the road and I saw a formation starting, that I would accelerate to 80 miles an hour, because you're going to damage your vehicle. But you're not stopping me. If I have to nudge, I wouldn't at first. I would not intentionally. But if somebody, started beating my car, started throwing rocks, and my life's in danger, I'm getting the fuck through there. I mean, it's not going to be at a fast speed. If you want to get out of the way, you can get out of the way. And if you want to stand there and get ran over, you can get ran over.
Yeah. That's exactly what I hope I didn't come across wrong, guy. Yeah, I wouldn't hit them full blast. I'd slow down. I mean, hell, I remember the LA riots. I remember a damn guy in an 18-wheeler stopped.
Reginald Denny.
Out of the damn 18-wheeler and beat him. I don't think he died at first, but I want to say he had died in the hospital. He may have lived. I don't remember, but I know I seen the footage of them beating the shit out of him. Miller, what the hell did you stop for?
Mm-hmm. And what was that? The OJ trial that started? What started that? Because that was the LA riots. Was that OJ or was that something else?
I think it was after Rodney King.
Yes.
I don't remember if it was a King, because see, OJ got off of the. So I want to say it was the police that got off charges of beating Rodney King.
Yes, that's what you're exactly.
Rodney King happening. I think it was when the cops went up for prosecution and they got set free. I think that's when the riots happened.
Yep.
Yeah, Rodney King buried it. There you go. James put it out there. And that was a big deal. I mean, these little riots they having now ain't nothing compared to that. That was a massive riot. It did, I mean, I'm not pissing on the law or nothing, Blue, but they called all the cops back. I know it's to regroup and figure out what the fuck they was going to do, but they called all the police back to the forces. They wasn't on the streets for their protection as well. I know, I understand. They're out there by themselves. Then you got this highly, even then, highly restrictive gun ownership deal in California. We're all sitting ducks there for a little while until the police came back out in force.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm like, what's the solution to all this? And I know we've bannered this back and forth many a times. Why are law enforcement allowing Black Lives Matter to block freeways? Why are they allowing them to do this? And it literally comes down to manpower. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were overwhelmed. Doubt about it. The police were overwhelmed. Now, if you get, and that would be true in really any city, but your bigger cities do have more police and they would be able to handle things a little bit better. But at the same time, proportionally, I don't know that they're any better. Hell, it may even be worse. You get in a big city where there's, the people, like the little town I live in, it's probably, I don't live in town. I live on the outskirts of the town, about 10 miles from the town. I think I seen the other day they got 10 or 12 cops altogether. And that may even count the dispatcher and stuff like that. I really don't know. I saw the number, but there's about 5,000 people. So, or town or whatever. It is a city. Yeah, it's a city. 10 or 12 people for 5,000 people.
Yeah. And that's pretty much par, And you look at the bigger cities and you have hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people. And you may have 15,000 police officers and you think, holy crap, that's a ton. Look at your stats. Look at your averages. That is like one cop per, God, I wish I was better at math, like 8 people.
Hell, say it's 150,000. Yeah, let's see what would the math be on that. I don't know. It probably have 1 per 10 to 15 people.
Yeah.
I'm definitely you got 100. 3 cops for a town of 1,000. Yeah. What the hell are they gonna do?
Look at those odds, And I'm all for, what? And it's not martial law. It's not this. It's not that. But I'm all for calling a National Guard out to assist in these situations. If you know that you have a problem, get the National Guard out there to assist the law enforcement. The National Guard is not going to be making the arrest. They're not going to be doing the paperwork. They're not going to be doing this and that. But they can take these people off the streets. And if we have to do, and this, I'm not trying to get in trouble with saying this, but if you have a small compound that's barbed wired around and you have 300 protesters that are out blocking the streets, you round up each and every one of them goddamn 300 protesters that are blocking the streets, you take them to this corral pen, and you charge them accordingly. And if the crime dictates that they be in jail, if they be here or they be there, or if it's a cite and release, that's what you do. But if it's above to where they need to be housed on a bail until they get their court date, we need to accommodate that. And that's what's not happening. Because if you have 300 people that are, for whatever reason, let's say that the blocking the streets was at least a misdemeanor level, which in most states is punishable by at least 2 years in prison. That's like the minimums. But if you have the capabilities of throwing these individuals in a jail, in a tent camp, I don't care what you want to call it, you're going to thin the herds out eventually, but yet you're going to have the manpower and the staffing and the resources, because you're still responsible for those people. You have to feed them. You have to ensure their medical. You have to do all that crap. But still, right now, the United States is losing that fight for that reason. There's not enough manpower. There's not enough places to house the individuals that are breaking the law. And I'm not talking about just, the protesters.
Do you think? I'm sorry, Blue.
Oh, no. I was just, I'm not talking about the people that are out, protesting, voicing their opinions in front of public buildings. I'm not talking about the people that are using their right to a peaceful demonstration. I'm not talking about them. We're talking about the people that are breaking the law. We need to round them up and start fining them, start putting them in jail. And that's the only way that you're going to, I don't want to say stop it, but at least you might curb it a little bit.
Well, that's what I was about to ask, because I forget what city it was here the other day where the mayor was like, just let them do what they got to do or whatever, just let them go. Let them do whatever they're going to do. Whatever. I think it was Ferguson. Pretty sure it was Ferguson. But anyway, if you don't curb it, I got no problem using the National Guard when it comes to rioting, when they're actually burning shit down. Yeah, use the National Guard. I got no problem with that. Yeah, just people protesting. No National Guard. Don't call the National Guard out. But if they're burning shit down, they burning the city down, yeah, call the National Guard. Mm-hmm. If that's what you need for the manpower, do it. But by letting them do this, basically is like perpetuating, just like this event where the guy was armed, running from the law, and what, I don't know the whole story. I'm just going by what I've been reading out. If somebody is justifiably stopped, killed, shot, whatever, right, and burned down the damn town, if you let that go, and because the first riots and stuff was somebody shot and it looks like a bad shoot, blah blah blah. He didn't have a gun, blah, whatever. Right. Well, or protest, that's one thing. And then they have another protest and another protest. Well, and then they start getting violent. And then a justifiable shooting happens, violent. And it gets bigger and bigger. And by letting them do it without any repercussions, isn't that inviting?
Yeah. If I knew I didn't have to work and I can come rob UTR without any repercussion, what do you think I'd be doing?
Getting shot.
Well, okay, let's say unarmed.
If I'm home, I guess.
But I mean, yeah, Ferguson. Oh man, Ferguson was the absolute cornerstone on why we have what's going on. I mean that, and then you have I think it was Baltimore, the mayor that said, oh, well, let them burn that block down and get rid of their rage, and then they'll go away tomorrow. What? You're
Baltimore was the one out. Baltimore was the one, yeah, because I remember the mayor was like, like on TV, told them, well, just back off, let them get it out of their system, or whatever it was. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'll tell you what, though, even after all these protests and rioting, I mean, I've lost a lot of faith in a lot of communities across the nation, but there's always that, God, this still makes me laugh for a good reason. The one high school let out, and I think it was in Maryland, and some mom was sitting at home watching what was going on, and she saw her kid throwing bricks and rocks and stuff at the law enforcement, and she walked her ass down to that corner and grabbed him and tore his hoodie off, and wham, she's lighting him up the whole way down the street. That's that was a good spot for America. I mean, but that's what should happen. The little shit should still be charged because he's throwing shit at law enforcement, without a doubt. But it starts at home. If there's no rules at home and you're allowed to get away with whatever, and at 16 years old you loot a liquor store and you walk into your house with however many 40-ounce of OE or whatever the hell, and everybody's like, hey, great score, good score, and dad picks one up and starts drinking one, and mom picks one up. That's where we're going wrong, is at home for the most part to begin with, and then it expands from that.
Yeah, that was, I remember that video because it kind of went viral, and probably not as much as some other BS that some lie or something, but because she was beating his ass, and he was all thug, till his mom come started whooping his ass, and his head went down, and he just took it.
No.
All of a sudden went from thug to little boy.
Mm-hmm. And you hate seeing it, but it's that I don't want to call it a mob mentality so much, but we've all been to a bar, or we've been to a party somewhere that probably the law enforcement has been called, and you have that one dumb son of a bitch that wants to be the taunter and wants to get everybody else all wound up and this and that. You get that one mouth that's starting everything out, and you get him in cuffs in the back of the car. First thing they do is start fucking crying. I'm so sorry. I mean, it's every goddamn time. I've adopted. I don't know if it's a golden rule or what, but I'm never really worried too much about the guy that's running his mouth. I'm worried about the quiet guy that's standing in the back that ain't saying a goddamn thing, but he's watching everything. That's the guy I'm always worried about.
Yeah, usually the loudest mouth is the first one that's going to turn tail and run. I ain't saying that's every time, but, we've all grown up with bullies, and if anybody ever stands up to a bully, not every time, but most of the time they'll back down.
Mm-hmm.
The quiet one in the back that's just ready for, that's probably the guy you got to worry about. Don't piss him off.
I mean, really, I really think that. I mean, think about your own life experiences. How many times did the guy out front distract you or whatever, and the guy in the back that didn't say a word is the one that rocked your world after you took a punt, you took a swing, you did this? It was always the guy that never said a word.
Yeah, a while back, it kind of went viral, at least on Facebook. And people putting music to it and everything else. And it was just, and I don't mean this racist or anything, but it was a thug. That's all it was. It's a thug. And he's on a city bus. This young guy was running his mouth, and he was running his mouth to this like 70-year-old man. And in the caption, they said he was a veteran. I think he even had some kind of ball cap on it, said something about some kind of service or something. And he kept on, and he kept on, and he kept on. And the older guy kept telling him, shut the hell up, shut up, And finally that guy got up in his face or something. I can't remember exactly how it started. Beat the shit out of that boy. I forget. Yeah. BC truck. Yeah. Epic beard guy. Okay. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, and I think that guy even started crying.
Seeing it, I love the internet because it's full of information, but it's so full of disinformation. I mean, there's a one story that was going around about there was like 4 or 5 Marines standing out front of a, uh, a shopping complex, and they were doing a fund drive or a fundraiser for wounded warriors, or something like that. So they weren't in all uniform or anything, but they were out trying to gain funds. And some dumbass robbed a store and then went to run by them. And like the way the police report was wrote up, and I don't know if it's true, it was like, this guy walked into whatever, the 7-Eleven, and started, and stole $2,000. And then whenever he walked out, he was met by 5 Marines that were doing a fundraiser. And he ended up with like a broken orbital socket, a broken jaw, a broken arm, a broken leg, all due from falling off the curb. I mean, it was like
a bitch. If you hit it just right, it probably is true. Somebody like the cashier started yelling or screaming for help or whatever, I'm sure them guys turned around and said, what? Oh, they were probably just reaching for him and the guy tripped.
That's the way the police wrote it up, so it's got to be true, But I mean,
and I don't blame him for
it. That's the way it should happen every goddamn time.
Yeah. Like I say, I mean, county, if I'm not mistaken, the latest stats, it's like populated county in South Carolina, unless I've seen some wrong stats. So you get into downtown Greenville, compare, it ain't Atlanta, it's not New York or nothing like that. I mean, it's still fairly small. We are talking about South Carolina. There's only like 4 million people in the whole damn state. So you spread that out. But in the city, I've had a little bit of a run in, not too big a deal. But even then, they never even checked my ID. The little run in I had, I know I've told the story, but they never even checked my ID. They kind of kept by the rule book. You know what I mean? But county guys, local police, little town police and stuff like that. I did say one time I did have a bad one, but even then, but he just kept pressing me if I had drugs, and they pulled up the K9 unit, driver's arrest. But they still I never got out of the car, and they never searched my car or anything. I just told them, if you want to search it, search it. I don't give a shit. There ain't nothing in here. And go leave. No warning, no nothing. No ticket. But most of the time, hell, they just girl boys.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way at least the guys that I work with and the guys in the surrounding departments. We every now and again, I mean, it does come down to fist and cuffs, but I don't want to say it's rare, but it doesn't happen very often. But I don't know. I've often learned, and I kind of pride myself on the fact that I can stop somebody for doing something stupid, and even like running a stop sign. And by the end of the encounter, the person, I would probably be safe to say 8 or 9 times out of 10, the person thanks me and tells me to have a good day after I'm done giving them a $130 ticket. That you're doing something right. If, and because I don't stop people and scream and yell and be like, what the hell? You could have killed somebody by running. Blah, blah, blah. You screwed.
This is my highway, boy.
Get the big mirrored sunglasses on and get the hat all tilted down and have that stiff-assed walk. And the person that I stop is no better or no worse than me. I've done it. I just haven't been caught. It just happened to be the wrong day for you.
I got actual written warning. A couple of years ago, there was this out of business little gas station stop. It was a 4-way stop. I just went to the motorcycle shop and got some winter gear. It was a little cool. Like, I forget what they call them, but like you put it under, you put it over your head and everything's covered up like this, they call them something, I forget. Basically like a mask, but it's, open like this. Oh. And I was going back home and I was like, damn, it's a little chilly. Maybe I need to go ahead and put that damn thing on. So I stopped, but at the corner, there was a gas station, abandoned gas station or whatever it was. So I pulled over and stopped. And anyway, I pulled over, turned the bike off, got out. Yeah, that's it. 19, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Kahibia 75. Yep, that's it. Baklava or something like that. And so I put that thing on, put all my shit back on, helmet and what have you. It didn't really matter. I was already in the parking lot. And as I went around the building, there were two cops sitting there. And I pulled up. I didn't get back on the road because I was already in the parking lot on the corner. I just went forward, stopped. Okay, no cars, and took off. And one of them, boom, whipped out around me, or behind me, and pulled me over. So I take out all, my license and registration, all that crap, and pulled me over. And I kind of had an idea, but I wasn't sure. And but it was for cutting through the parking lot, through like avoiding the four-way stop. And I explained to him what I said. I had just stopped. And you probably didn't see me. But I stopped and put this on, and I actually in the saddlebag, I pulled out a bag. I had some more stuff. I said, I just bought this stuff to put the head thing on, the baklava, or whatever it is. And he was like, he run my license, and of course, I'm Boy Scout. If you run my records, they probably think their computer's wrong because it's blank. There's nothing on it. And he wrote me a warning. And he's like, well, okay, just be careful, blah, blah, blah. And all right, thank you, sir. And I mean, even if he'd wrote me a ticket, technically I did cut through the damn parking lot, but I actually stopped, got off the bike, and, put shit on, and I started it back up and took off. They just didn't see me do that. They were on the other side of the building. And but he just wrote me a damn, he said, and he told me, he said, well, I've already called it in. It's on record that I stopped you. Blah. So I got to write you a warning. I said, that's fine. No problem. And he wrote me a warning,
Yeah, and warnings, for the most part, that basically goes into that police department's little computer, so that if, like, say 5 years from now you get stopped for something, they'll be like, that same police department could be like, yeah, 5 years ago he received a written warning for cutting through a parking lot. I mean, it has
yeah, I mean, if that's the worst thing that's on my record, I really don't give a shit. It's like, really? Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and they don't have a way to fight a warning. I mean, it's not, you have it. I don't know. You have no way of, if you're really like, dude, I didn't do that. I'm not, you may be able to talk with a supervisor or a chief to plead your case, but you're not going to get in front of a judge because it's not, it didn't bump up to that next level.
Thing about it is, I mean, even if it went on my record, it wasn't a serious crime. It wasn't really, as far as I'm concerned, I really didn't care if it was on my record. I cut through a parking lot to avoid a stop sign. I still stopped. It's not like I ran through and never stopped. I pulled out, pulled up. Oh, I'm on my bike. Up and look. I'm not doing a glance and go. Get run over.
No, so just so people kind of see what kind of department that I work for. We had a guy that was on his way out to a hospital to pick up some records. He's in a marked police car. He's coming up to a busy intersection. To avoid the intersection, he cut through a parking lot and went onto another road to avoid that intersection, somebody's like, what the hell? If I would have done that, I would have been in trouble. They called our station, filed a complaint with the chief, and that dude got, it was a day suspension, but that's a day loss of pay. I mean, we don't, that's, and that's, I don't know. That's why I don't get irritated, but whenever like, we're on a chat with a bunch of other guys and they're like drilling me with these questions and stuff about, well, this police department did, we don't know if our guys fuck up or fuck around and there's proof of it, or, we interview them and everything else. Yeah, they get a punishment. They don't get a ticket for it, but docking a guy a day's worth of pay for cutting through a parking lot, I mean, that's pretty substantial. And I mean, and that's a minor infraction. You know what I mean? So, we don't dick around with the ethics, I guess. We're put to that higher standard, and we at our department, we keep them to that. And we fired a guy that was DUI, let another guy go who did, I'm not going to mention what he did, but it was freaking stupid as shit, and it could have been deadly. Actually, it could have been deadly, and we let him go. I mean, it's just, we don't screw around. We don't do the round the wagons around them to protect them. It's like, you know what? You're a dumbass. You did it. And then, and you can see a progression with their stupidity, because we have oh hell, well, let's say you do something like completely stupid, and well, not even completely stupid. Let's say you run a stop sign, somebody calls it in. You could get a suspension, or you could just get a verbal warning, however that would work. But you watch that progression, and that dude that went through that parking lot, it was a couple of years later, but he did something completely stupid that involved an infraction of his character. It wasn't a theft. It wasn't, anything like that, but he was doing shit that he shouldn't have been doing, and he got caught and he was let go. I mean, and it was instant. So, that's the way that we at least, run our department. And I think that if the other departments would follow that same prototype, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. I mean, I can see why sometimes in the larger departments you have issues with, let's say a handful of guys doing shit that they shouldn't be doing. If they're caught, they need to stop, making it out to be nothing. They need to charge these people or terminate. I'm not saying let go. I'm not saying give them the option of, well, you either resign or we're going to fire you. Because if you resign that, or you let that person resign, they can go to any other department and get a job, because whenever that department calls our department and says, hey, did this guy work for you? What was he like? By law, and I think this is with any job anywhere, you can only basically say, yes, that person worked for us, and they worked for us from this time to this time, and they resigned. Or if they were terminated, you can say they were terminated, but you can't get into the reason for. So I really think that we need to step that up across the nation, because if you get rid of these asshole cops, which there are asshole cops out there, I have no problem saying that, get rid of them, and your communities will have more respect for that department, instead of this guy ended up with a broken neck in police custody, and yet we're finding everybody not guilty of it whenever it obviously happened. Did they do it negligently, or was it a criminal act? I'm not saying that that case was, but somebody fucked up somewhere. He didn't have the broken neck running down the street. Somebody fucked up, and that person should be held accountable. If the guy was running from me and I tackled him and he hit his, as we're going down, his head hits the cement, and that angle breaks the neck. You might have a little bit of, you have a reason why it happened. But when everybody's like, oh shit, I don't know what happened, it just magically appeared. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and I think that's caused a lot of the problems. And we've talked about this on many chats is the lack of accountability has got everybody upset. Black Lives Matter. I mean, a lot of people are pissed off that they seem to be untouchable. It's not every case. I mean, there are police that are brought up on charges and stuff. Just like we was talking about earlier with, well, if you let them get away with it, they'll do it again. Maybe even worse. Maybe even go further, so be held accountable. Nobody should be above the law. That's, I mean, and that's what you said, you said it too, I mean, you got to hold these guys accountable. You can't let them stuff. Maybe things will get better, but you're actually fueling the fire when you let stuff like this happen. When you let Black Lives Matter just go out of control and not do shit about it. When you have police forces that don't police themselves, it's I won't say quite a domino, but it's definitely a snowball effect. It just kind of grows as it's going down the hill, it seems to be. And that's going to be true in anything.
Yeah, just look at the presidential nominee.
Yeah. Talking about getting away with damn murder.
Yeah. And man, I really, really wish that was a story that I've kept more up on, but there's a lot of the absolute wild it's out there versus a lot of good points, like people that she was associated with or that were against her or anything else that are showing up dead under mysterious circumstances. Some of them make great cases. I mean, God, there are some out there that are like, yeah, no wonder that dude ended up dead. But then there's the other ones out there on the internet that you look at and you're like, are you serious? No. And it's like, and that's what I hate about the internet, but there's definitely some truth hidden in between all the stories.
Yeah. If you look up the dead list, just go to Google, look up, I don't think that's exactly what they call it, but if you just pull that up, I'm sure it'll pop up. 7, if you count these here in the last couple of months, it'd be over 50, of course, associated with the Clintons that ended up dead. Some of them could be very legit, but when somebody's shot twice in the back of the head, with a suicide, you shot twice. He shot himself twice in the back of the head and is ruled a suicide.
It's a light trigger.
One of Pop's Quest triggers. Did you see that video?
Oh yeah, I did see that. But I mean, and there again, there's the counterpoint here. Probably 2 months ago, and if you guys look it up, I don't know the officer's name. I just know that it was within the last 2 months, maybe only a month ago. There was an officer for a sheriff's department, and I don't know what state it was, but he was on his way home. And the way that they run it is they, they wear their uniform, they drive the patrol car home, they do all that stuff, and then whenever they come back on duty, boom, they're back in the car and they're on duty instantly. Well, this guy called that he was out at his residence and said that there was like 4 subjects that ran out the back of his house, and he was in foot pursuit. And the guy ended up dead. The sheriff deputy did, and they just came down within the last 2 days and said that was a suicide. That I can understand why that type of thing happens, because let's face it, if I get killed in the line of duty, legit, my kids and my family are set. I mean, life insurance plus all the other. I don't want to say gratuities, but that's the only word I can think of right now. But the perks of getting killed in duty is basically they, free school, free this, free that until they turn 18. And I think it even goes beyond that. But, they called him out on it. They found out that, he had financial distress. He was highly depressed and this and that. And there was no evidence of any break-in, and he was shot. The only thing that I kind of was like, what the hell, is he was shot and the only bullet went through his hand. It was with his service revolver, but if you want to make it look good, put your hand up, put the gun up, and do it. But they called him out, and there was one, I think, last year where the guy, he was a cop. I don't want to say a small town, but it was a relatively okay town, and he called out that he was checking on like some suspicious people down near some railroad tracks, and they had this huge manhunt, and they found out that he offed himself because he was in a lot of trouble because he was stealing from some police program for kids that he was involved with, and called them out. It sucks.
I remember that.
Yeah.
One where the guy, he called in like 2 or 3 suspects, suspicious. These might have been more to the story, like he's whatever, but it was like vague. People who were going, and he went down some trail or something like that. But you're right, there was some kind of corruption involved. I don't think he was doing it for the money for his. I guess he was and he wasn't. He tried to go down, went down in service, like on duty,
Right.
So he tried to make himself look honorable after the fact, but so he did kind of set it up. But it's almost surprising, and I'm not saying just because all police are corrupt, that better than that, but it's almost surprising that the truth actually came out in that story. Some blatant shit that it was like, dude, because I remember it was like 2 or 3 days before they might have finally said, okay, yeah, something wasn't right, and blah, blah, blah,
Right. But, and that's the thing, instead of letting things like that go, even though you might feel bad for the guy, feel bad for the family, you got to do what's right. I mean, Christ, that's what our job is. I mean, you have somebody that runs into a bridge and ends up dead, and claiming that it's an accident so they can get life insurance because they have a terminal illness. Their home life's a wreck. That's our job, to make sure that everybody knows what's going on so that those funds don't come out, because that impacts all of us. You know what I mean? And it's across the board, whether you're a cop or a contractor or a doctor. You claim a $500,000 life insurance policy as an accident, which automatically doubles. That's $1 million. And whose insurance rates go up? Everybody else's. And it sucks that it happens, but.
Well, and I won't say I put you on the spot, but I guess it was your chat. I don't remember. It might have been my chat. But I remember putting more pressure on you and we were talking about, where I forget now, but anyway, I know what we was talking about, but talking about the difference between Joe Citizen and a police officer, put more pressure and more responsibility, more walking the line, because you're enforcing the law. I mean, I don't mean this unfairly, but I would expect of the law more so than me.
And it should. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we all fuck up. We all make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. Should a cop, should a teacher, should a nurse lose their job over a DUI? I personally don't think that they should lose their job over a DUI. Should there be reprimand? Absolutely. Should they be on a 30-day suspension? Absolutely. Yes. Everybody fucks up. But if I go out and I get a DUI tonight, I expect a repercussion from work. Should I lose my job? No. I personally don't think that I should, because nobody else does. If I go out and I rob my neighbor's house, that is a conflict of character. Or if I'm lying about something, or if I'm stealing something, that is a character conflict. A DUI is not. Same thing. If I go to the bar with my wife and somebody's up, hitting on her, doing this, grabs her ass, whatever, and I cold cock this son of a bitch, should I lose my job? No. Should I be suspended? Probably. Yeah, at a minimum, yes, I should be suspended. But who else would do the same thing? It's the character conflicts that I have an issue with that we're letting people get away with. If you're stealing, like one of the biggest questions whenever you go into law enforcement is you go in on a break-in at a residence or a business, and as you're walking around clearing the place, you see that your partner grabbed $100 bill off the floor and put it in his pocket. What do? You fucking arrest that son of a bitch immediately, because I don't want that guy working with me. I absolutely don't. But if I'm out at the bar with that same guy and somebody grabs his wife's ass and he punches him, I'm going to be right in the middle of that, because that's just not right. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, like I said, the bar thing. Friend, wife, somebody grabs his wife's ass, and they get into it. Well, the responsible thing to do is to break them up. And as you're breaking them up, it's like, hey, y'all separate. Oh, yeah.
Fist flip.
A slip. I tried to grab his arm and I hit your face instead. Sorry.
Yeah,
there's totally different thing.
And it's the same. Look at all these teachers all of a sudden that seem to be having sex with students. That's an automatic. You don't have a job ever again. Same thing with a cop stealing, lying, something like that. They automatically don't have a job. But if that teacher goes out and gets a DUI because they're out having too good of a weekend, they don't deserve to lose their job for that. Do they get a suspension or something like that? Because teachers are they're in charge of our youth and molding. They should probably get something, but nobody deserves to lose their job for that. At least that's my opinion.
Nah, it'd be different if it was a felony or something like that, where they, actually wrecked and killed somebody or hurt somebody. But just going through whatever, and it's like, okay, you blew over the limit. So that gets into, we ain't even gonna go there, but that gets into the, can't think of the terminology I want to use. Basically, shit. What am I trying to say? Preventative crime. No crime.
Right. No, I understand that.
Yeah, no victim, no crime. But I do get it. Hey, I'm 48 years old. There's been several times I probably should have been at least took out of my damn car and put in overnight. I ain't saying, put in, just held up for the night. It was like, you too drunk to walk, much less drive a damn car. Mm-hmm. Hey, we've all been there. Well, most of us have, Anyway, yeah, I agree. I don't think you should lose your job for that. You should talk about Kyle's prepper earlier. There he is.
Yep. It looks like he got stuck in some traffic on the way home. That's why he's late joining us for the chat.
We need to get him in on another chat.
Oh, hell,
he does some.
I was going to say since he's late, he's fired, but.
Yeah, Greg, I agree. I don't bar hop anymore. I can sit here and talk to you guys, shoot the shit I want. I don't even have to make it to my bed. I can just fall right there in the floor and I'm good to go. It's my house. This is the best bar I've ever found. Yeah, he did a good job. I hadn't caught your latest video. I caught one of them. I hadn't caught the latest one unless you made another one. I seen one that Com said he had to do some diagnosing of some problems, a little bit of problems he had to work through, but I haven't watched that video. Yeah.
Speaking of
Oh yeah. I was talking about you earlier, Combs. Hank. See, Yasu, FT60, guilty about having a Wushan and a Bofong. I just got it programmed today. Software and got it all set up. And I did a nightly, I mean, minutes before the chat got started or like Blue showed up. I did a nightly check in with a 2 meter group ham club. I got it right because I checked in and they responded. So
Speaking of problems, TR, I do have an issue. You've seen the water catchment system that I have, which is basically the downspout diverts it into the 255-gallon barrels. Somebody had made a mention that they were worried about the debris off the roof, traveling down the gutter and then into the actual barrels. So I tried to fix that by basically I just took a nylon and I stretched it around the pipe that fits into where it goes into the gutter, and it completely shut down my water flow to the barrels. Any suggestions? And I don't want to get too expensive or too extravagant, but I've got to figure out something that once it comes down the gutter and it goes into the catchment part and it starts through the tube, and it's probably about a 4 or 5 foot tube right now. It's just the flex tube. And then into the barrels, because I'm getting a lot of, because every time it rains, your shingles you get the sand or whatever you want to call it.
well, they sell. I've seen them screens that you can get that actually stick up several inches. It's like a little dome. Looks like a cup, flipped upside down. And you can put that right over your hole of your gutter. That way, where it stands up a few inches, it may only be 3 or 4 inches high as a gutter, is so if sediment gets at the edge of it, the water level can raise and still go down in the screen. Because if you just put a screen over the hole, quick. If you go into I'm pretty sure they sell them at Lowe's and Home Depot or other place you got. And I don't know how it installs. I don't know what makes it hold in place because I don't have any. But I have seen them. And that could, help you out.
Yeah, and it's because even actually I think Calms was maybe one of the first people that made that comment on my video of, that was his only worry was that I didn't have a flush. There was no protection. Everything was, bird shit. Everything else was washing off the roof into the gutter and then right into the catchment system. I don't have a problem with actually hooking up like a PVC system, but I mean, literally, I think the hose on the end, like my first connection, I think it might only be an inch. And then, I mean, I could do it. It's just, man, I'm so lost as far as, because Calms Prepper, his catchment system. I mean, that thing, he's got a drip valve, and then it's got to flush back up and then go through a screen, and then it goes into the tanks. That would be great for a system that he has, but I'm looking for something maybe a little smaller, because I mean, literally, this is like the hose that, on a washing machine, your discharge, that's almost what this hose is, and I can't put a lot of weight on it, or else I lose my slight downgrade that goes into the barrel. Because if I get like a natural trap, you know what I mean? It traps the water in, then it just backs up and it goes down the gutter, and it doesn't hit the
I
barrel.
think you got room to maybe somehow house or whatever. I don't know if you've seen the comments out there, but he said he'd send you that setup.
Oh, I missed that.
If he'll send you one, it might be worth figuring out how to make it work.
Okay, there. Okay, I see that. See, but all his stuff is like 3 inch or a 2 inch pipe. I mean, his is a big sturdy system, and I've got a
Yeah.
little flimsy, you know, plastic hose.
You could adapt it up. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it was a 1.5 or 2 inch pipe. The bushing adapters off the gutter, bolt. Even if you had to put a bracket to stick it out a little bit, bolt that to the house and adapt it up. Let it roll through that, and then go to your barrels. You're more gooder. Exactly.
Yeah, bigger. I'll tell you
Boy,
what. The side chat I think is damn near spot on with how we're talking. I mean, it seems. I just saw that comment come up, and then you just said bigger and more gooder. So I think we're pretty well synced up tonight.
and he's right. Um, I don't have a filter on mine. I mean, other than that, I do have a screen up in my gutter, but I go up on I'll make sure the gutters are clean. But I got the 275-gallon tote. The way the kit I bought, you actually just drill a real big, but a decent sized little hole, and this rubber thing you fold up and you stick in there, and it's got a hole in the middle, so all it catches is water on this running down the outside of the gutter. So if there's really a lot of, it's still going to catch, like the shingle grit and stuff you're talking about. But surprisingly, and I've had it for a few years now, there's not that much debris in the bottom of my tote. The way that thing works, and it's just catching the outside water. So if you get a real bad downpour, I mean, there's water going down the middle of it, just not even hitting the edge that would divert to my catchment system. I'm not saying that's the way to go. It's not filtered or anything. Or if I was going to drink that water, I'd use those my little homemade water filter deal. The candle filters and 5-gallon buckets. Yeah, you definitely got to filter it. And you go through those filters. I mean, you could just dip swamp water and throw in there, and you can drink what comes out of it. So, yeah, you could work on that.
Yeah, I'm looking at he says that they make a catch with a screen that has an air gap. So that might be something. I was looking more for, and I hate saying it. I was looking for like maybe, is there somewhere that I could put the nylons above the filtration system so that it catches the grit. I mean, it's not going to catch the bird shit. It's not going to wash all that out. But yeah, I've got the candlestick. If I need to, I could fill that up. But
I'm telling you,
about the grit
whatever comes out of that gutter, it'll clean it out. But you can't. You can filter it, but you can't like filter down in the gutter too fine up and then nothing to flow through it.
Right.
The advantage of that, like spin down filter comms has got, where the initial showed, I forget how much it looked like. It was, I'm just offhand, a couple of gallons of water, probably more than that. I think it's a lot more than that. But anyway, old blast of crap that would come down it'll catch that, so. And always I said for $500 an hour, he'll come up and build you one, including travel time. No. He didn't say that.
No, that
12 gallons. Okay, I knew it was a good bit. But, yeah, there's always ways to improve it. But bottom line is something. 10 gallons of potential water there that whether you had to boil it, filter it, that's still 110 gallons of water that you didn't have before.
And the first time I screwed up was I put that whole system together, filled up both barrels, and I was like, that was the first fill up, and before I connected those 55-gallon barrels in, I put water in it with a shitload of Clorox, and I rolled them down through the yard and rolled them back up, and then I dumped it all out, and then I put them in that system, and I filled both of them were filled up with after the first big rainstorm we had, and I was like, I'm going to flush those out just because there's still a lot of Clorox. So I opened them up, let everything dump out of it, closed it back up. It didn't rain for like a week, and then I had my holding tank for my water, like for my well water, it exploded, and I had no water even to fucking flush my toilet. I was so pissed.
Well, lesson learned. Hard lesson learned.
I just took the 5-gallon bucket and dumped it into the big swimming pool we have and took it into the bathroom. But
so I still have backup,
Yeah, I've got 5,110 gallons of water to piss with. So
that's good.
But it was the principle. I worked so hard on that, and then the first time I could have used it.
Yeah, because you'd have been so proud if you could have used your water catchment, if nothing else, to fill your toilets up.
Exactly.
That would have been video worthy. Of course, if you hadn't have dumped out the water in the tanks, your holding tank probably wouldn't have busted.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
Thing.
Yep, exactly. Well, that's just because we have a hard water here, so it's probably every 3 to 4 years I'm replacing a hot water tank or something like that. But I learned the last time that because I do it all myself, which I'm not good at it, and the first time was very obvious that I wasn't good at it. But the second time, I learned, make the shut off so that you can shut the water off to the hot water tank so that you still at least have cold water running throughout your house. Yeah. A life lesson, I guess. But
Damn.
That's a lot of water.
Good. JB says he's got an extra well. That's cool with a hand pump. See, Com said he had a leaky toilet, emptied up 1,400 gallons of water last time he left it, or one time he left it, I guess. Yeah, I turned the water off too.
And that's the one thing. Somebody said something about a hand well. I've often thought, and what I want to do, because TR, you have city water still, even though you're out in the boondocks, you got city. I would like, I got well water. I'd like to figure out a way that if, for whatever happened, grid down situation, something like that, to be able to hook directly into my existing well a hand pump, just in case you needed it. And I've looked up a couple different ones, and some of them look pretty good, but other ones are so sketchy. And I'm scared shit. Literally, you start pissing with your well water and you screw something up. It's not something I want to do.
I remember when they were town, or at least the talk of the chats, or not chats, but the videos I was looking at, them that coexist with your, and I'm sure I don't know if it was the better ones or the ones they suggested. I want to say they were in the $300 range. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it was in, hundreds of dollars or few $100s, whatever it was. But yeah, it coexisted with the pump you already had. Change a pipe, or if it had its own pipe. But would supposedly pull up water from pretty deep. So
I just I want to try to, I mean, as a backup to, like, because your well water, it comes up out of the well, and then there's the pipe with the elbow and everything that runs the whole way to where your house is. I want to somehow be able to tap into that existing line, but still make it so that, you know, the pressure and everything else is good for the house water. So that if we do lose electric for a week or two, like it's happened here before, that I can go out and it's all in line, but yet I can, you know, do the hand pump to fill up you know, a couple gallons or something like that. But dude, I'm basically, I'm scared shitless to cut into a pipe that runs to my house and screw up my house water.
Yeah, I hadn't done that much research on them. I see Redneck Prepper said there was $1,500, but I remember looking at some that was in the $300 range. But I don't think they tied into the same pipe. Trying to pull it through the pump that's not working, and I think you had to have your own pipe going down to the water, but you know, I don't know. I hadn't looked into it because I don't have a well, so I
Right.
didn't look into it that much. I've videos, and it was a pretty simple little pump. You know, you can get more extravagant and hook them to solar power or panels and or battery power and have a solar panel and have a little freaking motor on it and all that. Yeah, like I say, you'd have to do your own research on that. I really don't know.
Yeah, that one's rough. I mean, if I could do another well and just, you know, drill it down and have a hand pump only, yeah, that'd be great. But drilling a well out in our area is pretty goddamn expensive, because once you go about, I don't know, 4 foot into the ground, you're hitting so much rock, and it's not something you could do by yourself. I mean, you have to have the, you know, the people that dig wells do it. So, and
Now the ones I was looking at, you whatever the top of your well is, like where the pipe comes out and stuff, place that, and your well still does the same thing, but then you got a hand pump there too,
okay,
tied into the same pipes. But I could be wrong.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And that'd be awesome.
Ooh, yeah, wellhead. You just went over to wellhead. So, but there again, I hadn't dug into it, so I can't say. But I don't think they were that expensive. That's one thing. Hey Johnny, Engineer 775 channel. That's where I seen them on. I don't think they were that much money. I mean, in investment, $300 is investment. It is for me, but yeah, Com said the same thing. Yeah, that's where I seen them. But yeah, it's probably worth looking into. It would be a worthwhile investment. I mean, not even Shithead the Fan. I mean, Shithead the Fan, a local event to start with. I mean, it could be world ending, world changing, whatever. But for the most part, until that happens, if that happens, whether it's a hurricane, earthquake, tornado, a freaking water main breaks on the street you live on, that's the shit hit the fan. Just like you was talking about when your pump busted or your busted. Well, for you, for that few days, that was a shit hit the fan. We ain't got no freaking water.
And you also have to, you hate saying it, but you also have to be somewhat crafty whenever you call the plumbers to fix that shit. I mean, now after watching them, you know, I could probably do it myself, but if you call somebody after like 2 o'clock on a weekday, they charge you emergency. Oh, what that, like, they're coming out as an emergency. You need water now, and that labor is so much more than if you were able to hold off for 1 or 2 days. So they only charge you $40 an hour instead of 130. You know.
Yeah, I know it a little bit different. We got work yesterday and solar power and stuff, and talked about how he had looked into it and stuff. And he was talking about the cost of it. He actually looked into it, and I was like, yeah, if you pay somebody to come out and do that, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Comps representative Blue. You buy the beer, TR, and I'll come up and plumb that damn thing.
I dry house. There's never any alcohol here.
Yeah, I was a plumber in the Navy, by the way. But yeah, we were talking about it. I was like, well, that's why I did it myself, and I did it a little at a time. I built my system up. That was the way I could afford it. And I also was educating myself as I went along. It's just a way to do a lot of a lot of things. A lot of us preppers and bushcrafters and just people on the comms prepper. I'm sure he didn't just have all the equipment and know how to use it that he has today. I mean, we all learn. It's all a learning process, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's plumbing. I know Rick over there that is your six covered. He's wanting. He's talked about it. He's got a creek that runs through his property, hydropower, and so I told him. I said, "You tell me, say the word, pull the trigger, and we'll figure out the best way to hook up. What voltage, whatever, what you want it to do, what we can do." It's a little bit away from his house, so I'm thinking build a little shack and have the inverter and everything there near the creek or wire to the house. You don't want to run DC all the way up to your house. So, I mean, it's a little at a time, and learn as you go, build as you go. Sometimes you can waste a little bit of money doing that, but you can at least afford it as you go. Fat man, Chad, you got a creek run through your property? If you do, I got a little bit of knowledge. I ain't never done that, but I know a little bit about it. Good, even though I don't have a creek or a river. Well, that's a JB out there says friend with 3 no good water heaters in a line before it was a good working water heater. Got them all for free, but he's got 4 of them full of water in case the power's out. Man, that's good.
Which actually, with talking about hot water tanks, I was impressed just a couple months ago, I went camping for, it's supposed to be 3 days, but it basically turned into 4. And whenever I leave the house, because, whenever you leave, that's when the shit breaks. I turned the pump off, I turned the hot water tank off, turned all that shit off. 4 days later, I came home and I was like, turned the hot water tank on, all that stuff. And I went upstairs, turned the water on to make sure that, no air bubbles or anything got in there. The friggin' hot water tank was still hot after 4 days. I was like, holy shit, I never would have expected that.
Yeah, my home has a it's basically a light switch. My water heater's 220. Light switch it's got a little red LED in it to let you know when it's on, but it's kind of high. But if I'm going to leave my house for a few days, go camping, whatever it is, I always flip it off. Just in case a water pipe breaks or something like that it don't drain the water heater and it sit there and heat, because that could be a potential dangerous thing. So I wouldn't say it'll blow up, but you wouldn't want it heating air. Nothing else cause more damage. Everything else. So I always try to cut it off if I'm going to be gone a few days.
Right. And the one unfortunate thing about I mean, I have gas to my house, like, the whatever, natural gas, but I've got nothing that is ran by gas. It's well, let me take that back. I have one ventless heater in the basement that hooks up to it, and the only reason I pay I think it's like $11 a month to keep it connected is because my house is all electric. So in the winter, if my electric goes out because of an ice storm or something like that, I've got to use it. And I haven't had to use it since I've been here, which is now 16 years. But still, I'm paying for something that I don't use. But yet, if something happens with the electric, you need to have that backup for the backup for the backup. And I would like to have a wood stove. My house is so small that can't really. I mean, I could do an external. There's no doubt about that. But internal, no way.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, the elements bent. Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Columns. I am allowed to have the wife has told me I'm allowed to put up a whole solar everything. The only hitch with that is I got to build a brand new house. But she's completely on board with it. She wants. I mean, she watches this. Not I don't want to say watches what we're talking about, but she's in tuned enough to say, yeah, I realize what we need. But yeah, she's all up for doing not complete solar, but at least 50-60% solar package. But yeah, I got to build a new house out at the farm compound before that happens.
Well, you've been talking about that. Is that the plan?
Yeah, and it still is. It's just one of those deals right now where uh, at the financial situation I'm in, I've got to be able to sell my house, have a place to stay while they're building. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
that's the part that sucks. I mean, and the thing is, whenever I bought this place, the people that had it before me, they went bankrupt, and I got this place for. I mean, it was a steal, and I'm like, I mean, it was a steal what I got this place for, and I could easily sell it for, let's say 40,000. This is a low estimate, 40,000 above what I paid for it. So that would pay off my loan, and I would have $40,000 to start, to get the building done and then start a new mortgage. But the big thing is setting everything up to get it sold, have a place to stay in the meantime before the build begins, because I can't afford to start the build before it's sold. And that sucks.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that because we were saying, hell, buy a damn camper or find a damn used single wide for $5,000 or something.
Yeah. Either that or I should start like a GoFundMe.
There you go.
I've seen stupider shit for GoFundMe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is literally the only problem, is making sure that, because once the place is sold, it's a done deal. Without a doubt, it's a done deal. But I can't. We make the plans, we look at the prices, we get all that shit done, but I can't pull the trigger on selling the place. It never falls in sync, and I'm hopefully one of these days it'll be like, all right, boom, boom. A rich relative is like, all right, we'll buy the place from you. We're going to rent it out. And that's what I'm hoping for, but that hasn't happened.
Be tight and it'd be a pain for a while, but I really do think a damn camper, just a used camper, you find one $5,000 or $8,000 or something like that, just big enough to where you can kind of move around a while. But I mean, that's your best option, I think. Even if you had to get a loan to buy it, property out of the way, and I ain't saying you should do that. I'm just saying that's just an option, I would think.
Right. No, and that's even out at the farm. I mean, the farmhouse is big enough where absolutely we could move in there, but it would be so cramped for however long it took to get, if somebody were to come up to me today and say, here's we want your house, here's a check for this, I'd move out tomorrow. There is no doubt, because then you could get everything set up. But that's just that's the only hiccup I got. That's the only one. Want to make sure I have a roof over all of our heads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the camper deal, I mean, you would you had a septic already, or you could, if you could move it next to the house, the farmhouse, their septic system, run you a hose for your water, you could run power to it and all that. I mean, that, even if it was an inconvenience to them for a little while, I think you could make it work. It would still be an inconvenience, no doubt. But I mean, it is a doable plan.
No, it's.
I don't know if you know it, but every house, I don't know if you got, I would imagine, but if you got city sewage, you may not have it, but I guess you do. But like my house, you got where the pipe goes to the sewage, I got a septic tank. You got a cap. Like if there was a problem, you could Roto-Rooter or whatever, but you run your pipe right out of your camper into that, so it would just go right into the septic. But anyway,
we can do it. The problem is definitely me wanting to pull the trigger, because I like my comfort zone, and I don't like to be out of my comfort zone so much, especially whenever it comes to household stuff.
yeah. And Fat Man says he got a 2-room Remington tent he'll save for $100.
And I would have no issues with that. I could live in a tent, in at least the spring, summer, fall months. That is not an issue, because even at the farmhouse, whenever we're camping out there, we go down and shower whenever we're camping. I mean, it's definitely a doable situation.
Hey, I hope it all works out for you, though. I don't know, because like you said, I mean, even if you invested some money in the camper, you made a profit off the house, I probably wouldn't even pay off the camper. I'd probably put that money toward building a house and then out of the camper. Then, if you wanted to, sell the damn thing for what you paid for it,
No, it's definitely a doable plan, and I mean we've got to do it, because I've got 3 kids right now sleeping in the same bedroom. It's a big ass bedroom, no doubt, but I got one girl, and the older girl, and then the 2 younger boys. That shit ain't gonna last forever.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's a good option. I don't know if I had to do it over again, that's what I'd have done here. Is just bought a camper, put it to the side, and just worked on. I mean, I didn't have kids and shit like that, so it wouldn't, the urgency wouldn't be as much. But myself, I mean, even if I did contract out some of it, which I would have, just tried to build it myself to save as much money.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, we've already got the house that we want to put on. It's a prefab, you know what I mean? Because I can't build it cheaper than what they can deliver it for. But yeah, I mean, it's, we keep trying to set the money back to, at least build the foundation that we know that the prefab will fit on. And then we'll have to do a different well system, which that shit is expensive. Holy balls, trying to get, brand new stuff ran. That's expensive as hell. It's doable, but man, I got to win the lottery.
Yeah. Yeah, that ain't a bad, those prefabs, that ain't a bad way to go. If I had to do it all over again and I was single, like say if my house burnt down, I got it's insured. Say if it burnt down, I shouldn't even say that. Let me knock on some wood. Hell, I'd probably just get me a couple of them damn containers and make me a home.
Put her underground.
Mm-hmm. Even if it wasn't underground, we get a couple of them, put them together, weld them together, cut a hole in it. Okay, this one is my kitchen and living room. This one's my bedroom and bathroom. But that's just me. I mean, I'm by myself. I don't care if anybody likes it or not.
Right.
But building a house, I ain't sure. I wouldn't build it, which I'd contract it out. I ain't sure I wouldn't build a damn concrete block house. Probably the cheapest way to go. You know, have a roof put on it, you know, regular roof, but concrete block building. And then sheetrock it inside and do, you know, your walls and all that. Yes, they did build a prefab on Table Rock golf course. Huh. All right. Anyway, well, we up right at the 2 hour mark. Anything else we need to cover, Blue?
Not that I can think of. I see there were some earlier comments that there was some rioting still going on, and I think was it Milwaukee? Maybe it wasn't Milwaukee. It was?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Same that comment, I think. Yeah.
And that there was some, you know, false journalism, which we've become accustomed to, where shots were fired at JFK, and then it was instantly no, there wasn't. So I don't know. That's another standard I think that we should really attack at some point in time is the bullshit news reporting.
Yeah. I know when I'm at work, plus, say I'm on break, I'm just out in a little smoking area, and I'll go through stories, and I'll hit them. And there's a lot of them that's just loosely based on one little event. And, of course, the website you never heard of, or they're not, you know, they're not. I try to not to take weight on any story I see, especially if it's really wild. It may be totally true, but you got to take it with a grain of salt if it's not. And I don't mean to just say it's mainstream, you know, it has to be mainstream media or I believe it. It's just that I've seen stories that I knew were bullshit as soon as I seen the story. The hell is this, you know? So, yeah, you got to take, especially when you get into your conspiracy world, you got to take all that information with a grain of salt. And see if you get some more backup and some more concrete evidence of what it was. You know, it can't just be websites or have some kind of name like the Conspiracy Net or something like that. And then they throw this story out there and it's like, well, how much on it? How true could this be? How much bullshit might this be? Because that might be the same website that Earth or some shit like that, you know. I mean,
but it's even the mainstream news. I mean, how many times have we seen, you know, active shooter at a military base, you know, buildings evacuated, you know, 13 thought to be dead. And then they turn around and say, oh, well, it wasn't an active shooter situation at all. Nobody's dead. It was somebody doing a spam call to the local police department. Yeah, that's, you know, I realize that they're going off of what is instantly reported. And we've become we've become a world that wants that instant, this is what's going on right now. But holy Christ, whenever you say 13 people dead at a military installation because you have 3 shooters that are confirmed dead and there's still maybe one running around and none of it's true. I mean, holy shit. You know, well, we talked to somebody that said this, You know what? CNN, call me. I can talk your ear off for an hour. You know, I can make shit up with the best of them, but damn. I don't know. It's irresponsible, and they're never held accountable, and yet they can always they start off on the level that's way up top, and it's no big thought that it goes way down so quick, and it's
Yeah, you're right. The mainstream's bad about that too. Just the news is on 24/7. I mean, they try to make everything exciting and a big deal, no matter how it is. And then at the same time, trying to manipulate you to believe what they believe. And I mean, it's watching the news, or whether it's online or Google Plus or Facebook, you got to take that stuff. So wait it out a little bit. And then we've talked about this on chats before, where some story breaks and we're like, well, until we get all the facts, I don't think we can really talk about it and what was said so far. I mean, because you don't want to stick your foot in your mouth.
right.
It comes out tomorrow that it was all bullshit.
But we are all kind of guilty of it. I mean, look at the riots last year. How many times that we had chats while those riots were going on, and we were very specific that this is just based on what's being reported. I mean, at every chat that we've had, at least that I've been with you with, we've been. Wow, my phone's blowing up. But we've been very specific that, look, this is what's coming across. This is not what we're seeing. This is not this or that. But we're still helping it. You know what I mean? That, oh, well, this was a bad shoot because of this. This was a bad shoot because of this. Even months after the actual incident happened. And then come to find out that it wasn't quite the way that everybody thought. And it happens. I understand that. But it sucks. And the mainstream media is to blame. I mean, you put out videos or people's thoughts or people that weren't even fucking there that say that they were there and they saw this, and this happen. And you find out that was complete and utter bullshit. I mean,
yeah, we've had chats where we were talking about some news story, and then came back the next chat, whether it was the next week or whatever, and say, okay, well, now this evidence came out, and it turns out that was not necessarily bullshit, but it wasn't correct. It was different. It was, we've probably, I know with me and Matt, because I've been on chats with him a long time, we probably have gotten bitten by that because we went asked about it. And then a few days later, it's like, oh, shit. Because that was based on bullshit, So we've kind of calmed down. It's like, well, just because the story breaks and this happens, until you get all the facts, until the damn water settles down, everything settles down a little bit, and you can get a really good base on what's going on, then we'll talk about it more in depth. We can talk about it a little bit, but we have to emphasize, like, well, even chat that, you had, and I was like, well, based on what we've seen, this is what I think. I ain't saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying based on the information available.
I guess I'm just more, I mean, not our chat, not any chats that we've been part of, but it's the frenzy that the media causes. And I really think that they play shit up so bad that, and they get one sect of people, whether it's the gun rights people, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's whatever, they get that one sect so round up and so ready to go to war, and then just to find out it's like, yeah, you guys were so fucking wrong, but they got so many people riled up, and how many people killed. I mean, look at the riots that happened because of bullshit media reporting. Well, this happened because this cop shot an unarmed anybody, an unarmed black man, white man, yellow man. I don't care. You're going to get a certain sect round up just to find out 3 days later, because the investigation was ongoing, and you didn't know that the guy jumped off of a staircase with a machete and was about ready to fucking crack somebody over the head with it, and he ended up dead. It was because somebody said, "Oh, those cops shot him, and he was unarmed." No, if you wait a couple days, you're probably going to see body cam video, or you're going to see this. And
well, we had that happen just weeks ago. It was pretty close to each other. I don't remember the specific shootings. Well, one of them I do. Where the girl did the Facebook live chat while they were being pulled over, and while her boyfriend or whatever got shot, and that caused a big uproar on the chat. Where we were like, well, why was she recorded? Why was she? Kind of seems weird that this live instead of being like and trying to poke her, put her hand over the bullet wounds or something, because he bled out, he died.
right.
Well, it turns out a few days later, and he was reaching for it. And they didn't get pulled over for a broken tail light. They got pulled over because they matched the description of a robbed a convenience store.
Yep. Vehicle plus the people involved.
And then the other one was a guy that got shot. I don't remember what city it was, but they say, oh, he was unarmed, blah, blah, blah. Then it comes out when they show the video, going for a gun. He had a gun on him. He was going for his gun. But if you just went by the initial story, it took like 2 or 3 days before it came out. And some pictures, you could see where he was doing that. And it was like, well, see, there you go. Yeah. Prime example of what you were just talking about.
That's probably the best example, because I remember that chat, how we were talking about it, going, well, this might not quite, this seems odd that this would happen or this would happen. I mean, I don't remember who all was on the chat, but we talked about that for quite a while, and everybody kept level heads about it. And then none of us jumped to a conclusion, oh, that was wrong. He was a concealed permit holder and this and that. It came up, but it wasn't. It wasn't the be all that debunked anything that was said. So yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, I mean, somebody, who was it that said that cops won't get out of their cars anymore? I think it was Calms Prepper, maybe. I've had a battle for 3 years now with the police department that I work with to get us even the AR 500 body armor plates at TR. I know you have them. You paid like what, $300 for the package?
A little over 2.
Okay. Well, it's gone up over the last 3 years, and every year I've been like, look, these aren't rated for our specifications. That they have to be, I think it's NIMS certified or something, which automatically puts a $300 package up to a $1,300 package because they got qualified for it. I've been on this fucking banter with our administration that we need this stuff. And it's not that we live in a bad area. It's not that we have shootings every day. But I'm in northwestern PA. Everybody's got a fucking deer rifle. So if somebody calls in and says, hey, I'm going to kill whatever, and, you show up, I asked our administrators, what does that mean? Since you're not willing to equip us, do we show up? Do we not show up? How does this happen? I've got no answer. And it pisses me off because, headshot, yeah, you're done. No big deal. But a $300 purchase that may stop something, or most likely will, they're not willing to do. So what's your answer, administration? That's the question I asked them. What's your answer? Do we not go because we know that the person has made a threat with a long gun? And they won't answer anything. And God, that shit pisses me off.
Yeah, Midwest said you don't want to 15. I'm telling you, that setup I got is heavy as hell. It may not be technically if you look at the specs, but when you strap that shit on, that you do not want to walk around with that crap on no more than you have to. But if situation like you're talking about, you're going into talking about a traffic stop, you got a shooter situation or a possible shooter situation, yeah, pop the trunk and put that shit on. Then
Yeah, and our administration won't even give us that option. Oh, well, that might put us over budget for the year. That's what we're getting. I am so close to just buying it, putting it on a credit card, and if I get in trouble for wearing it, fuck them. You know what I mean? But that's one of those deals where
Hmm.
that's where I think that money should be spent, but it's not. I mean, Christ, we had. Never mind. I won't go into story time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to say I hadn't looked lately. I think the setup I got, even with curved plates now, I think you can get it for less than 250. I want to say I paid $200 for mine. Back plates and the plate carrier. Maybe
And
225, 250 now. I don't know, but it ain't a bad investment, and it's something I hope I never wear.
but if you had the option of knowing that this person says they've got a long gun, they're going to do this, or the reports are that, would you rather, if you have to go into that situation, I mean, have to, would you not rather have it than not? I mean, those fucking
If
ballistic
they had
that
fucking 22 and told me they were probably going to shoot at me, I would rather have that damn AR 500 plate on, much less a damn long rifle. But any gun, if I know for a fact I'm going to get shot at, but I need to go into that situation anyway, damn armor on. And
yeah,
it'll be the best $250 I ever spent in my life.
yeah. I mean, and that's what I've tried to get that through all of our administration's head, and everything I always hear is, oh, well, that's really not in the budget this year. It's like, it's going to cost you less than $3,000 to put get us all on this, or get us, it's not NIMS. I keep saying NIMS. I think that's what it is. It's not NIMS rated, but you know what? I've seen enough, and I hate saying it like this. I've seen enough fucking YouTube videos of people putting AR-15 rounds at it. I've seen enough videos of, I'm going to shoot my 300 at it. I'm going to shoot my 243, and it doesn't fucking penetrate. Am I going to get lucky and it hits me in that good spot where nothing happens? I hope, but at least I know I've got something instead of the fucking
It covers your vitals. I mean, yeah, they can still shoot you in the arm. They can still shoot you in the head.
Mhm.
Your heart, your liver, blah blah blah, kidneys. I mean, that's what it's made to cover. Your vital organs. You still might not get killed or whatever. Got something, and yeah, if I don't care if I got a 30-06, they'll probably knock you on your ass and break 3 of your ribs. Tell about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to hurt like hell, and you're going to be out of the fight probably for a while, if not the whole thing. But you're going to fucking live about it, or live to see the next day. And I mean, great, a fucking 22 to the neck, you're dead. I mean, it could be anything, a pop shot from forever away, but still, what do they want us to do? If TR has a hostage and he shot somebody and did this, you want me to go in on that with a fucking ballistic shield that only stops a 45, that we know that stops the 45, plus a Kevlar vest? Yeah, well, how much trouble am I in for not going into that situation? Yeah. And I hate saying it, TR, I feel bad for your hostage, but yeah, I'm not proper.
Precedent is, and I'm not saying it's right, but it has been said that the police have no duty to protect you. I know it's not worded like that, but they don't have to put their life on the line. Anybody, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's more of a, and that's where a lot of the officers get in trouble. It's a moral compass, to where, you know person screaming on the phone, this is going on, and you have that need that you feel you have to go protect that person. That's not entirely true. I mean, and that's to everybody out in the chat that ever thinks, if somebody's breaking into your house and they get into your house, there is no need or no requirement that law enforcement has to breach into your house to protect you. There's none. If they feel that the situation's too dangerous, they can do a surround and drown. You know, they can just surround your house and hopefully the guy doesn't find you. Hopefully. But there's no, that's why, you know,
There's no law saying you have to, like you say, there's no law saying you have to go in there and risk your life to save it. They don't even say risk your life. There's no law saying you have to go. There's no law saying you have to try to stop any crime.
Right. Right. You're right. I mean, just think about the bullshit civil suits where somebody's broken into somebody's house and cut themselves on a butcher knife, and the person breaking into your fucking house wins that civil suit because you were negligent by leaving a fucking butcher knife somewhere that cut him.
Yeah, see that ridiculous crap right there just blows. It shouldn't blow my mind, but it does. I've heard of people breaking into stores and they were trying to come in through the roof and fell and broke her leg and sued and won.
Yeah,
How in the hell did that happen?
that
What
roof,
jury done it? Even if a jury allowed it, what judge allowed it? What prosecutor case? You know, that son of a bitch needs to be horse whipped. You know?
absolutely. I don't know. In the long run, I've often said this. They need to bring back swift justice, not over the top. And I know TR, we've talked about this. If me, TR, and everybody in the chat panel saw me shoot somebody unjustly, I mean, just walk up because I'm pissed off at that person and I shoot them. Yeah, you have your moment for a trial, absolutely. But that many people that sees it, you don't have to put me through jail for the next fucking 6 years plus 2 years of appeals plus whatever else, and pay for my medical, pay for my food, pay for my housing. You're dead, you know?
Yeah. Like you say, maybe not extreme, but a little bit of Old West, just a little bit. You know, we'll give you a fair trial and then we'll hang you.
Mm-hmm. And especially in today's society, I'm not talking 20 years ago where some mentally challenged person admits to a crime because they were literally unjustly interrogated and they admitted to it because they had no idea what the hell was going on, just to find out that person's DNA was nowhere close to it. But you have so many witnesses, you have the DNA evidence, you have all that other stuff. Why are we wasting the time?
Yeah. Got you on video. Yeah, no. Combs want to know when your contest was over. I don't know the date. I know we were talking about it earlier. I think you said there was about 11 days left.
The 25th.
And I want to see that if he does that. So I'm curious.
I missed what did he say he was going to do? Because I missed that.
You were talking about it earlier, him using something as an antenna.
Oh yeah, comms.
Yeah.
Using because you said something about it would be the longest shot ever recorded with an AR-15.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let me say that while he's still out there. Comms, if you do that, make sure. Yeah, put something about longest shot with AR-15, or something to that effect. Because if you do that and make it work, that will be the longest shot ever made and hit your target with AR-15.
No
Oh, he's
shoot
going to
back
shoot
both.
the phone.
I thought he was going to do a antenna off of a AR. At least that was
I misunderstood that.
hell, if you want to shoot a bowfang, go ahead.
Yeah, I misunderstood, or we misunderstood.
No, he's going to do it. Okay, what are you going to? Are you going to shoot a bowfang, or are you going to make an AR into an antenna?
Yeah, Yeah, blue was.
There it is.
Yeah, do that too, or do that, whatever. Yeah. Whatever you do, I'm sure it's going to be interesting. But if you use AR-15 as an antenna, rig that up, I'd ever buy AR-15. That would be pretty cool. It may be educational.
Oh, absolutely. And if shit hit the fan situation, you can turn your rifle into an antenna to talk to somebody a couple miles away. You're damn right.
Yeah. Mag late around heavy and handy and dual purpose. You're talking on the radio, somebody comes around, slap a mag in it, boom. Oh, there you go. All right, it's been over 2 hours. I try to make these 2 hours long. It's been just a little bit over 2 hours. September 6th, I don't know what day that falls on, but September 6th, my YouTube gets dropped. I can start doing my chats back on the TR Prepper channel. So here in a few weeks, start doing back on the TR Prepper channel. My penalty's gone, all that crap. It was a stupid thing, but hey, it is what it is. And next week, I'll let you do an outro too. I just want to say this right quick. Next week, 1 year anniversary of the round table. I'm going to do anything special. I'm just going to try to invite that's ever been on the chat. See if we can get a big panel on here and just shoot the bull. And, but other than that, that's it for me. But outro.
I really got nothing. Great chat as always. We started off with no topic and we just kind of bullshitted our way through the whole entire thing. The 1,000 subscriber giveaway is going on. Get in on it. VR for the silver package or the Pops Quest loader package, or if you just want to make a comment, if you don't do videos, you can get in on that as well. So thanks, TR.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you helping me out. Just me and you tonight. It is still summertime. People got a lot of stuff going on. Hell, I've missed a couple of my Tuesday night chats. I might even missed a Sunday night chat doing this. But, you know, sometimes crap happens, you know, and you're out doing stuff. So I appreciate everybody coming out, everybody in the audience. We had a great audience, as usual. I didn't check. We got 48 now, so we must have been in the 50s at least. For coming over here to the Mr. Fun Fisher channel, and I don't know why I left that Mr. Fun Fisher up there. I should have put. I just now noticed that, but I just thank you for coming out. I'm glad y'all enjoy our conversation. We enjoy interacting with everybody. And like I said, next week will be our 1 year anniversary, and have a good group of guys or gals. That don't matter to me. And I mean, we usually do. Started out kind of just BSing, but we still hit on some serious subjects and talked about some serious stuff, and that's what we try to do. You know, I mean, it's serious, but it's casual, I guess you'd say. So with that, I just want to say goodbye, everybody. Thanks again. Y'all are awesome audience, awesome friends, basically. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. So we're going to sign off and see everybody later.